Many Kenyans, those who always think positive, kept a very close eye on the news over the last few days, hoping for a miracle that would stop the Finance Bill 2023. But as we talk, that is history now. Hiyo kitu imepita. But I want to draw your attention to the behavior of one Raila Amolo Odinga and the ODM party, and indeed the entire Azimio fraternity. Okay? You know, human nature is very interesting. Somebody can come out and tell you, this is what I want, and they want the opposite. ODM, especially Raila Odinga, were behaving very strangely over this bill. And of course, there's a good reason. You know, there's one of my subscribers who has really been calling me, even as the bill was passing. Hey, Chris, what is Raila doing? What is Azimio doing? They must stop this thing. And I need to take this opportunity to thank them. Because of those calls, I caught something I was not supposed to catch. I noticed it. By the way, I'm sure you've already noticed on your screens, I am giving you details on how they voted in Parliament. Okay? So you can take that in as we discuss. Now, what many people expected was that Raila and Azimio would come up with a strategy to stop this bill passing. Okay? Call parliamentary group meeting. Read the Riot Act to members. Make sure that they're there to vote against this bill. Reach out to some members in Kenya Kwanza. Of course, in every camp, in every family, there are disgruntled elements. Look for those people who are not happy in Kenya Kwanza. Talk to them. And at the very least, if they're too scared to show up and vote no, tell them not to turn up. Something like that. Indeed, Raila told us early on that they were going to storm Parliament to stop this bill. Nothing happened. Instead, Raila and Azimio were making all the right noises, but doing nothing. It is like the situation where you take the love of your life to your parents to introduce them to her. And they take one look at her and they tell you, over my dead body. No, you cannot marry that woman. Apana. The day you do that, forget I'm your parent. Forget I gave birth to you. And so what do? And this is a real life story. On the way back to the city, you tell your parents, wacha tu nimpatie lift back into town. I can't leave her stranded here, but I've listened to what you have said and I'm going to obey. And so she gets into your vehicle. And of course you drive right back to your house in the city. And you continue living together as if nothing happened. On the day your mother is coming to visit you in the city, you tell your dear wife, please try and understand, my dear. Can you visit your mother for a few days? I love you, but you know my parents. Please understand. So she visits her mother. And your mother comes and visits you for a week to confirm that you have followed instructions. And she confirms, indeed, the woman is not in your house. Raila and Azimio were making all the right noises to make us believe what they wanted us to believe and what we wanted them to do. That is precisely what happened. And the Finance Bill 2023 passed. Okay? And very few people noticed this. And they came on this channel and started saying, guys, we are on our own. It looks like Raila and Azimio have been bought. We are finished. We'll have to handle this thing on our own. All these politicians are the same, etc., etc. Now, bila kizungu mingi, let me illustrate to you what Akina Raila did, precisely what they did. Okay? You're chasing these people in a vehicle. Yeah, it is a high-speed car chase. And the disadvantage these people have is that they don't know that area very well. And so suddenly, as you're chasing them, they turn onto a road that you know very well, that at the end of that road, it suddenly goes over a cliff. There was a part of the road which was eroded some time back. It has never been repaired. Funds have never been available. So it looks like perfect tarmac. But then suddenly, it goes over a cliff. Yeah, of course, there are warning signs. But when you're driving at a certain speed, you'll not be able to stop on time. And so these Azimio people, yeah, chasing these guys in a vehicle, chasing these UDA guys in a vehicle, realize, our work has been made very easy. So what do? They increase the speed of the car chase. They pretend that they are now more desperate than ever to catch up with these guys. And so from here, it is bumper to bumper. High speed. Why? Because they know the people they're chasing are going to take care of themselves by driving over the cliff. Yeah? All these Azimio people have to do is to make sure that the car chase remains very high speed, so that there's no chance of these people stopping on time not to go over the cliff. That is precisely what happened yesterday and over the last few days. And guess what? It worked. The Kenya Kwanza vehicle drove over the cliff at very high speed. They didn't even make an attempt to stop. They saw the signs, but they didn't believe there was any problem. Yeah, because the people behind were still chasing them. And they continued at high speed. Meanwhile, the Azimio vehicle behind applied emergency brakes at the last possible minute. And they stopped. And they stood at the edge of the cliff and looked down there. And indeed, the UDA vehicle was burning. It had gone over the cliff, damaged beyond control, and burning. The heat was so intense they could feel it in their faces. That is what happened. Let me spell it out. The passing of the Finance Bill 2023, after all the narrative we have heard from the people on the ground, the people of Kenya, the voters, yeah, was a highly successful suicide attempt by UDA, which has succeeded. Suicide has happened. Political suicide. Kenya Kwanza, for all intents and purposes, kwisha maneno, politically. Now I can already hear those of us who are naive shooting back at me. Chris, you're daydreaming. Kenya Kwanza are powerful. They have proved their power in parliament. That bill has passed. Kwani mtadu? And this is the end of Azimio, etc., etc. You, Chris, you just support Azimio. Now, I'll respond. Let's leave Azimio out of this equation for a minute. Yeah, because what happened yesterday has pushed Raila Odinga and Azimio out of the way. Yeah, and the person who at the forefront are the long-suffering people of Kenya. And let us keep this very simple. What this budget has done, there is no other budget in the history of Kenya that has raided the pockets of ordinary Kenyans like this one. Never ever in our history. Okay? Now, when people are already suffering, when people are already cornered, and you're increasing the VAT on fuel from 8% to 16%, meaning that fuel prices will automatically climb up by at least over 11 shillings per litre. And already those fuel prices are at a record high. What do you think is going to happen? You tell me. What do you think is going to happen? You see, fuel affects everything. Because goods and services need fuel to get to the market. And so it will affect the price of everything. And this is in a backdrop where already Kenyans are complaining every day about the high cost of living. Okay? Just leave Azimio and Raila Odinga completely out of it. Yeah? Wacha tuambiane ukweli. Now, do you think Kenya Kwanza politicians will be able to hold an impromptu rally anywhere in the country called Kenya, and the hungry people of Kenya cheer them on? Do you think that is going to happen? How do you think the people are going to react? Leave Azimio out of it, kabisa. Now, I don't know if you know this. This increase in VAT on fuel of 16% was first introduced into Parliament in the year, wait for this one, 2013. But the Uhuru Kenyatta government applied emergency brakes. Something the government wanted to do, they had the power to do it. They could easily pass it in Parliament, they had the numbers. But they decided to apply emergency brakes. They decided, no, hiyo, wachana na hiyo. Now, why did they do that? Are these people idiots? Was the Kenyatta government stupid? Were they not thinking straight? Were they not brave enough, to get this thing passed? Ask yourself those questions. The reason why they applied emergency brakes, put very simply, is that they realized that had they not done that, the backlash from the people of Kenya would have been so huge, the political backlash, that the very survival of that administration would have been in grave danger. That's why they stopped it. But this Kenya Kwanza government, they are brave. Kwani iko nini? They have the numbers, and they are cleverer than the Uhuru Kenyatta administration. They are much smarter. Hawa watu ni genius. Wanajua kitu ambaye Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa ajui. If you believe what I've just said, I strongly recommend that you get your head examined. No kidding. Because there is something called political reality. There's something called human nature, which nobody can ever run away from. Nobody. So Raila and Azimio must have realized, we're working so hard. Maandamano, all these things we're doing, expensive things, to correct the injustice of the 2022 presidential elections. But hold on a minute. We don't need to do anything. These people are already on the road to self-destruction. So why waste our energy? Why don't we encourage them to continue along the same road? In fact, let us do something that will help them increase the speed. Now, you need to know, over the last few days, Kenya Kwanza think tank has been very busy. The decision makers have been very busy, working out and imagining every scenario, every possible thing that Azimio are going to do to stop the finance bill, and taking precautions. They were busy, and Azimio played their part. They pretended they're actually trying very hard to do something. I'm telling you, politics is super fascinating. And so from here, things are going to be very easy for Azimio. Raila Odinga calls maandamano. What do you think is going to happen? Hey, what do you think is going to happen? Even those people who never dreamt of joining him will be there. And that's why I keep on predicting on this channel that you should look out for the mother of all maandamanos. Loading soon. Let me put it in another clearer way. Let me put this whole scenario in another clearer way. Had Azimio succeeded in stopping the Finance Bill 2023 from being passed, the effect would have been to increase the tenure of the Kenya Kwanza government. The effect would have been that they would have been helping the Kenya Kwanza government to stay in power longer. That is really what it is. In other words, Had the finance bill been stopped, Azimio would have won. But Kenya Kwanza would have won bigger. Believe it or not. Yeah. Because this would have been a lifeline for them to survive much longer than they will now survive, because they have raided the pockets of the people, the hungry people. And they have ensured that rather than hunger reducing in Kenya, it will increase dramatically. Yeah. And therefore, this will greatly speed up their fall from power. Let's wait and see. And so, my dear friends, this is the situation today. As a result of the events of yesterday, we are going to sink deeper. We're already sinking deeper into very serious, unprecedented economic depression. You know, we all didn't do economics. Yeah, so let me simplify it. We are sinking into that situation where hakuna pesa, hakuna chakula, hakuna kazi. Yeah, and it's going to get worse now. Because you see, the key that keeps any economy moving, yeah, let's even simplify it and put it in a village. If the people in the village do not have any money to spend, will any business in that village succeed? Of course not. Now, normally, for instance, in my village, around the end of the month, businesses start to flourish. And the first thing you'll notice if you go to the local shopping center is that people are busy withdrawing Mpesa. Yeah. Their relatives, their sons, their daughters, their people in the city have sent an Mpesa, yeah, to the rural folk to help them survive. So people in the village have money. People are spending. Whatever you're selling, this is the best time to sell. So imagine this big village is the nation of Kenya. What happened yesterday is that those M-Pesas, which those people in the village receive at the end of every month, was reduced. It was cut down dramatically. So what's going to happen in that small village, which is Kenya? People will have less money to spend. What will happen to those businesses there? Those businesses, some of them will close. They won't have enough customers to survive. There will still be money in the village. I mean, the M-Pesas came. But that money is very little. If people don't have spending power, your economy is doomed. Kwisha maneno. And don't listen to what theorist economists say. Oh, we should be self-sufficient. Oh, we should not rely on foreign aid. And therefore, this money needs to be raised from the people. Wait a minute. Have you looked at the people whom you want to raise this money from? What is their current situation? I'm telling you. Anyway, that is the situation. So from here going forward, things are going to get much harder. And there's something else. You see, spending and how people spend money is very closely linked to mood. Yeah, so even those people with money, even those people who received the usual M-Pesa, their mood will be affected by the mood of the others who the M-Pesa was dramatically reduced. So you still have a lot of money in your bank account. But when you read newspapers, when you see what is happening, when you see what is happening to the Kenya shilling against the dollar, you apply emergency brakes. Let me not spend now. Ya kesho sasa hatujui. The situation is so uncertain. So bottom line, things are going to be very hard. But guess what? I'm going to tell you something you won't believe. Many people have never believed it. But I beg you to do your own research. When times are hard like this, is when the biggest opportunities present themselves. That is the truth. Historically, it has always happened like that. And for you to be able to see those opportunities, whether it's an opportunity for you to get a job somewhere, at this time when people are being fired all over the place, yes, you can. Or whether it is an opportunity for you to make money with a side hustle, something that you can do in your free time, add income for your family. Or whether it is a brand new business you can start, or whether you can do something with the existing business. I gave a very good example in the previous video. of what you can do if you're stuck with huge stocks. You can't sell because people don't have money. You can actually convert all your stock into very good money with much higher profits than you'd have actually gotten if the economy was booming, believe it or not. Yeah, using something called barter. Those who don't have cash give you something else of value in exchange for the goods they need from you, in exchange for the food they need from you. And then those things of value they give you, you already have a market somewhere, and you sell them at a much lower price, so they move very fast. But when you do your sums at the end of the day, you have made very good profits very quickly. All those amazing tips put in very simple language, grade 2, which anybody can understand. Yeah, and I've already received very positive feedback from those who have taken me up on this offer. Yeah, this set of videos I made in 2019. So please, I highly recommend, look for that little investment and go for this set of videos. I assure you, you'll never regret. Because folks, we're in a hole and we have to prepare how we're going to survive inside this hole. Okay? Upende uspende, that is the situation today. Of course, we're reading in the paper that a lot of people are moving out of Kenya. The super rich are moving out of Kenya to better pastures. But for many of us, we have nowhere else to go. Kenya is our country. So how are you going to survive in this hole? You will need a plan. And I highly recommend this investment. I have a special offer. You can see details on your screen. I highly recommend this investment that you will never regret. In fact, I give you a money back guarantee today. If those videos don't help you, if you don't find them helpful, contact me. I'll give you a full refund for them. Because I'm genuinely here to help. And so if they don't help you, I'm also not interested in your money. Okay? Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.